kind of happened really fast, and things were just lining up. And I was driving back from Atkinson, Nebraska. I spoke up there, and I spent the night, and then was driving back in the morning. And I finally decided I'm calling Troy, and I just said, we're going to do this, let's go. And everything started moving, and everything was great until the press conference.
Sorry.
That's when it really hit me like, okay, this is for real. Even telling the team was okay, because I don't know, it felt right with the team, and I was more worried about them than anything I was thinking. I just wanted to make sure they were good and understand where I was coming from. Troy told me, here's the plan. We're going to do this announcement. We're going to work together with Louisville. The teams are going to be told at the same time. We're going to announce right away that Danny's the coach. So it was seamless. It was beautiful. It was top secret. And it didn't allow anybody to start thinking too much. But he told me in the beginning of that, he says, we're going to have the press conference the next day because it's going to take people time to process. And he says, this state may go into mourning. And I'm looking at him like, Troy, what are you talking about? I mean, this is just a coach retiring. It's not that big a deal. I'm going to sit here before you now in front of this camera. I had no idea how many people have been impacted across the United States by Nebraska volleyball. 2000, I became the head coach, and Nebraska had never gone on an international trip. So I asked Bill Byrne, our AD, I said, we want to go on an international trip. We're allowed to do that. He said, well, where do you want to go? I said, China. And he said, okay, I want you to come to this meeting. The Beef Club was a football booster club. We didn't have a booster club back then. And so I told him all about it. We'd be the first college volleyball team to go into China. It's a communist country. It's kind of a miracle that we even had the opportunity to go with all the politics and what was going on in the world at that time. So I explained all that, and this guy raises his hand. He goes, by the way, who's paying for it? And I'm saying, well, I think Bill Byrne is going to pay for it, and he's providing the financial support to go. He goes, no, we're paying for it out of the Beef Club. And I remember that, and I walked out after that, and I said to myself, we're going to find a way someday to be a revenue-producing sport, so we never have to listen to that again.
All the way to the top of the stadium, and you can still get a pretty good view of the court. There's not a seat to be had. It's filled up all the way up there.
So they've built it up over the decades. They started from popping popcorn from the coaches, forcing people to come in after football games, and now to have this many people in, it's just a testament to how good Nebraska volleyball is as a program and how far the sport is coming and where we're going to go.
It's unbelievable, all the things that I'm reading and hearing. So you have no idea when you're in the moment and you're grinding and you're just trying to, survive each day. But it's been unbelievable. I could never imagine the impact that Nebraska volleyball's had. So I always tell coaches, and when I go speak, one of the things I learned is to have the mindset, the longer I coach, the less I know. And at first it was really hard for me because my first year at Nebraska in 2000, we went undefeated and won the national championship. Only 3 teams have ever done that. So I thought, I'm pretty good. I got this figured out.
To Elmer. And it's over. The Washington Huskies in a stunning 3-game sweep.
Every year I would tell myself, after we were humbled the next year, I would tell myself, the longer I coach, the less I know. Because I've got to continue to learn. I've got to continue to get better. And I want to have a growth mindset. Because I had that mindset, each year I was able to learn more, because every team teaches you a lot about coaching and what it means to have a great team and a great culture. And I'll be honest, this past year, you probably could take 10 to 15 years and bundle it all up, and that's how much I learned in this past year. So over my 25 years at Nebraska, we've done a lot of incredible things. The stadium match, national championships, most All-Americans, all those things. Just going to small town Nebraska and playing, that's one of the highlights. I could sit here and tell you all those things. But over the course of 25 years, if you listen to what to me is the greatest accomplishment of a coach, or what you could hope for, is having former players come back and work in our program. So Laura Pilikowski, your strength coach. Lindsay Peterson is our director of ops. Lizzie Stempke, and she came and coached at Nebraska. So even though she wasn't a Husker, still a former player. Maggie Griffin coached with us for a while. Kayla Banworth coached for us for a while. Then I hired Kelly Hunter. So to me, I'd always say this is the greatest accomplishment, because we've got former players, and that tells me they're having a great experience and they want to continue in the sport. They want to continue to give back. And the best way to do that is by coaching. And now to be able to hand this off to Danny Busboom, Kelly, as a former player, as a former assistant coach, as somebody, and I always tell them, you've got to go away from Nebraska to coach before you can come back. There is really no place like Nebraska when it comes to coaching. So you've got to go and learn and see how other programs do it before you can come back and really appreciate and understand what Nebraska is about. And Danny did that. And she did it at an amazing high level and turned a program around at Louisville. And so to me, this is to be able to hand that off, and the fact that she's also a female, and she'll be the first female, actually the second female head coach at Nebraska. The very first one was Pat Sullivan, who started it off. But to hand this program and this team off where it is now to a former player, because I remember when this happened to me, we were in the Coliseum, I went down and kissed the floor. That's how much it meant to me. And I know every day when Danny walks into that Devaney, she's going to feel the same way. This is in her blood, it's in her heart, and it'll be probably the greatest honor of her life, besides being a mother, to be able to come back and be the Nebraska volleyball head coach. In 2001, I would run the stairs in this football stadium, and I'd always see the sellouts for football. And I thought, why doesn't volleyball have a sellout? Can we do one? So at an event, Beef Club event back then, I was probably 400 people in there, and I made an announcement like, we're going to start our own sellout streak for volleyball, and I need your support. And we started that year and started selling out the Coliseum. And then when we went to Devaney, I was worried that they made it too big and we wouldn't be able to continue the sellout streak, and we didn't want to lose it. But Devaney sold out every match since then. So what I want to say from my heart is thank you, because this is one of the reasons we put Nebraska volleyball on the map, and we're the leader in this country for the sport of volleyball. And it's impacted every other level in the state. It's impacted the pro level and other colleges and universities who are trying to break sellouts, attendance records, and those types of things. So again, I just want to say thank you. As people say, when we brag about this, we have the best fans in the country. We can actually say that because you guys prove it.